Hello everyone, this is the Jackal. Today I'm going to be talking about something that was brought to my attention recently, and usually I don't care about this because people are entitled to their opinions, and I usually just quietly listen to them and shrug them off as the stupidity of the masses. But this is something that I actually care about, and the arguments to it, for it, or against it are complete and utter trifle. And I think the real reason why this got to me this time is because, how do I put this? It's because, I don't know, for the first time, and I don't know why it took me so long to realize this, I've realized that for a lot of things, a lot of the problems in our society or whatever, or things that need to be put away, it's the people who don't consume the media that get listened to. And I don't understand that. If you haven't guessed what I'm talking about by now, I'm talking about the variant cover that was released for Batgirl. If you don't know what it looks like, it's this. It's the Joker. It is Joker get up from the Killing Joke, and Batgirl looking quite terrified at the Joker. Now, the arguments for this to get it banned were that it was celebrating rape culture and showing Barbara, aka Batgirl, as a victim. Let me tell you something about trauma. And I'm not even going to get into my argument yet about why this doesn't need to be banned, but let me just tell everyone out there who is just rallying to the point of nothing, pushing their own agenda, how trauma works. When you're traumatized by something, it doesn't go away. It doesn't matter that Batgirl is not paralyzed anymore and that she can. It doesn't matter. If she were to see the Joker in that outfit, not even just naturally just seeing the Joker, but in that outfit when her trauma happened, would you not be terrified? In the picture, it seems like she can't even escape. It's not like she's free. It's not like they're rooms apart or he's behind a glass or something. No. When a trauma is bestowed upon you, you feel trauma, it's scary. It's scary. You don't want to see anything involving that. And being near it and to the point where you can't get away is just like a nail in the coffin, And then let's get into the nature of the trauma, because some people, you can get over trauma eventually. It takes a lot of help, a lot of therapy, whatever, but you can get over it. But here's the thing. There's no getting over having the Joker mess with you. If you know the nature of the character at all, even just a little, like through movies or whatever, the Joker is a force of nature that does not care about his victim's disposition. Let's say Barbara, because a lot of people are like, well, there should have been a cover of her triumphantly fighting off the Joker or whatever. DC Comics, especially Batman stories, for all of the wacky supervillains, the mentality is grounded in a lot of reality. So let's just say that you had an issue where Barbara finally got the Joker. Let's say she defected from the Bat family, broke their no-kill vow, beat the Joker within an inch of his life, and then killed him. You want to know why that would be a hollow victory? It would be hollow because the entire time the Joker would not only be laughing at her, but he would also possibly be making light of and bringing up their history the entire time. And it wouldn't matter what kind of pain she put him through, because he does not care. And then, let's say she didn't kill him. Let's say she beats him up, gets her justice, whatever, doesn't kill him. The minute she lets him live, unless he's knocked out and cannot talk, it's going to be the Joker looking her dead in her eyes and calling her an idiot. And then recounting what he did to her. He'd basically be like, are you sure you don't want to kill me? Because if I remember correctly, I showed up at your front door and shot you and stripped you naked. Then tried to drive your dad insane. Remember that? I do. It was good times. So, your beliefs or whatever, your feelings aside, you can't even be upset about the cover because it is the nature of the character. Let's say the Killing Joke never happened and this cover was still the same. Joker has traumatized the Bat family for years. So this still would hold relevance. And anyone saying that, oh, Wonder Woman, Hawk Girl, or whatever would never be depicted as this with the Joker, well, duh. Because while every DC villain is, every DC character, I should say, maybe not everyone, but most of them, even God-level characters are afraid of the Joker. They don't have that intimate relationship with him. Oddly enough, the people who have that intimate relationship with him are very few. And it's mostly the Bat family, Harley and her inner circle, and citizens, regular citizens. It's not Wonder Woman. It's not Superman. They know and they fear him because they know he doesn't care. They've had encounters with him in the past, but it hasn't been to the point where literally they are watching everything that they could love die. And to put it in perspective for you, there have been Elseworld tales where the Joker has gone to Ascara, and he's not an Amazon. He doesn't have any super strength, but he can instill fear and he can get followers. He is charismatic and he makes so much logical sense most of the time that people, no matter how good their disposition is at the time, crack under it. And that's what's scary about him. That's why it doesn't matter if Superman can beat the Joker physically. Because if the Joker sat in a room with Superman long enough, even if he was killed before he could get his message completely out, at the end of the day, guess who's going to be infected? Guess who's going to start thinking? Guess who's going to be out on a superhero run, stopping a regular bad guy and seeing the futility of it all? Guess who's going to wind up killing said bad guy, because that really ends the problem? And guess who's eventually going to go insane when all their friends try to stop him? And that's what you have with the Joker. Now on to the cover, personally. If you're saying that you don't like it because you don't like the story and you don't like the Joker, then you're right. You make sense. It doesn't need to be banned because of that, but you make sense at that point because that's your opinion. You don't like the character. You don't like the story that it's from, which is The Killing Joke, and so you don't want to see it. Okay. But if you're saying that it promotes sexual assault and all this other nonsense, then let me give you a history lesson. In The Killing Joke, for all of you who don't know, and all of you who are just like, well, just because Alan Moore said it doesn't mean... No. Joker does not physically rape Barbara. If you're wondering why it looks like she's writhing in pain and screaming and ashamed, it's because 1, she's naked, and 2, she's just been shot before being forcefully stripped while having the Joker taunt her and tell her how he's going to show the pictures to her father. And I was watching another YouTuber's video where she said that he even raped Jim. And no! The Joker, by almost all intents and purposes, is an asexual predator. And I say this because if you've read the comics or watched the animated series, watched any of the animated series, the Joker never is physically... He doesn't need anyone. He's never physically... Like, he likes Harley, but it's not even a physical like. He has a strange attraction to her insanity and devotion. And even he doesn't fully understand his feelings. He is so messed up as a person that he can't even handle actually having a healthy relationship. That's why it always ends up with him beating the shit out of her. And if you really want to feel sorry for someone, it should be Harley. Let's just get that clear. Because, yeah, Batgirl got paralyzed or whatever, but Harley's actually been raped by the Joker. And she's actually been abused on a constant basis. So much so that she's institutionalized mentally and keeps running back to him. But that's a whole nother story. So, Like, the only person he's ever been intimate with, for the sake of intimacy, I guess, is Harley. And despite the craziness, he actually has feelings for her. Sorry, and that's why he's so insane when it comes to her. But that's it. That's it. And if he's ever complimented anyone else's appearance, he's usually said something along the lines of how beautiful they would look after he cuts up their face, or beats them to death, or they're already dead, and then he tells Batman, Superman, whoever it is, that he just made their girlfriend, love interest, wife, whatever, look amazing. So you people are getting the wrong idea and getting angry about the wrong thing. If you're gonna boycott anything, you should boycott the character. It won't do you any good because the Joker is making too much money. He is more popular than Batman. I mean, when literally we hold our breath for who's going to play the next Joker, but we don't really, I mean, yeah, we care about Batfleck, but we're all anticipating this Joker performance now. And it's always going to be like that. And if the Joker goes anywhere, DC can kiss Batman goodbye unless they make a villain that's just as good, which is going to be really hard because you'll never find someone with so much complexity. And now, why this is dangerous. And back to my thoughts on the minority outvoicing people like me, people who have rational thinking skills. I personally don't understand why. I don't get it, and I don't know why I've never realized it before. Oh, video games are bad. Let's ask every single person who barely touches video games, or all they do is watch their son play Call of Duty, which they had to buy for them. Oh, anime is nothing but porn. Let's not ask anyone who actually watches it. Let's ask all of these psychologists and experts who have never seen anything outside of something that's intentionally ecchi or hentai. Oh, rap music is all like, let's just not ask the people who actually consume the media anything. Are there bad elements to anything? Yes, there are bad elements to anything. I love Disney, but there's a shit ton of things wrong with how they run things, especially in their live action department, especially with the values they try to teach kids. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but that's everything. Everything has a dose of bad in it, because that's the world we live in, and nobody is perfect. As long as people are churning out anything, something in it is going to trigger someone and make someone uncomfortable and make it bad. But the thing that separates people who have a strong mental constitution from people who are crazy is the ability to realize, I don't like that. I don't have to say anything about it. I don't like that. I don't have to try to ruin it for someone who does. Unless it's something that is flat out disgusting and immoral, then no. And let's get back on the cover again. Let's put it in a way where it would be justifiable to say that this was promoting rape culture and victimizing Barbara. If that had been Lex Luthor with Barbara crying, and he like had his finger up into her eye and, you know, wiping her tear off gently and looking into her face, then yes, because Luthor is a megalomaniac. He is crazy. He is a womanizer. He has made advances on women before in the past. Barbara has no reason to be afraid of him, so she is clearly a victim at that point. That makes sense. But the Joker? Even Batman, if he was tied up, no mask on, no ability to escape, no utility belt, and Joker had his switchblade to his face, he might look calm because that's how they draw Batman. He's always going to kind of look calm. You know, they're not going to really draw Batman scared. He's been sad, he's been sorrowful, but he's not going to be terrified. But if they had a little caption in his thought bubble or whatever, he'd be like, I'm really going to die this time. No one's going to come save me. I'm done, because it's the Joker. He's crazy. And that's why the best depiction of him, well, not the best, but one of my favorites, is in Arkham City. For those of you who don't know, during that game, during almost the entire course of it, Joker calls you. And of course you're Batman, and you don't like the Joker, so you're ignoring him. But the entire time he calls you, he leaves voicemails. And it's not antagonizing you. It's not even, hey, I'm the Joker, still alive here. No, he's legitimately calling you half the time and asking you about your day. Yes, there are a few times where he's being a villain, but there's more times than not where he's legitimately calling you to check up on you because he's crazy. If he sat down and had a talk with Batgirl, one, he might not even remember what happened until Batgirl starts saying stuff. But two, he might think that he's like her uncle, the equivalent of her uncle. Because, as we all know, people who actually ingest the media, Joker has thought of himself and Batman as a couple. He's thought of himself and Batman as best friends. He's thought of himself and Batman as, it's crazy. It's crazy. And for anyone, it's just, and then you illegitimize the arguments. You hurt anyone who's an actual feminist and can see truth. You hurt anyone that actually has been a victim, and you hurt those people by doing stuff like this. You hurt their movement and you make them not be taken seriously. What's going to happen when Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel come out? What's going to happen when those movies come out? Because you best believe there's going to be some guy in it that's going to beat the shit out of your hero. She's going to look like a victim during it. But you know what? It's never a problem in movies because we can take Maleficent, played by Angelina Jolie, but Maleficent, one of the most prominent Disney villains in the history of Disney. Badass, independent, all that. And then Maleficent with Angelina Jolie comes out and we turn her into a woman scorned. And I've talked to not a million, I'm over exaggerating. I've talked to quite a few girls out there who love this movie, and I'm upset, and I'm a guy. I'm upset that they took out this independent, strong character and turned her into, oh, my obviously deceitful boyfriend cut off my wings. I'm so upset and tortured now. She didn't need that at first, and she didn't need it at all. But you took it from her, and nobody had a problem? Really? There was no Twitter, nothing. There was no Twitter war. There was nothing aimed at the director. There was nothing aimed at Angelina. There was nothing aimed at anybody, and that is a form of disrespect. But nobody can see it because, oh God, she's not. No, she was actually the equivalent of sexually assaulted. So I don't even know why it didn't happen. Because basically the way the scene played out is she was drugged and or raped. But I could just be totally wrong. I could just not know what I'm talking about. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end this before I get any more heated. Do the thing. Subscribe, comment. I want to hear some things about this, man. And as always, as long as the internet never forgets, neither will I. This is what Uncensored Development was originally created for. Stay frosty, peeps.